hay nadie en el piano. No mames. No hay nadie.
So much like the candle, this has confused me. Unlike the candle, this isn't me being an idiot. Beardos, weirdos, balls and ghouls, how are we all doing? Today we're looking at just one clip from Slapped Ham, because it sort of auto-played when you're going on the YouTube rabbit hole. I was writing a script for the end of year video, and this was just playing in the background, and I'm like, come on. So, we're going to get into the clip. No one cares, John. No one cares. So this clip involves Sarah. Sarah is a cleaner at a care home and somebody's private residence and thinks it's appropriate to film herself working in these very private places. I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is all the same stuff. So we're going to use this as an educational lesson for all you budding debunkers out there in how this stuff is done, how easy it is to recreate. So let's go.
TikTok user Sarah works nights as a cleaner. One of her regular clients is an elderly care home, and she says the building never truly sleeps. The laundry area explaining that many...
So she claims that the building never sleeps. Yeah, it's a care home for the elderly. They don't sleep. Now, my wife works nights at the care home, and the residents are up and down all night. They kind of lose focus of time when they're in these places. Not only that, but you've got to think of all the age-related illnesses and some of the really cruel illnesses that people get in their elder lives. Things that have hit our family quite hard, like dementia. Patients with dementia, they tend not to sleep. They don't sleep regular hours, if they sleep at all. They're up and down, they bang, they wail, they shout, and to pass that off as paranormal, it's, gives me a bit of the ick. The things we can explain away that I'll have skipped, you can just explain away as residents. Old people's home.
Many residents have died there, and families often wait nearby for the body to be collected. As she speaks, you hear soft knocks somewhere down the corridor.
Para que escuchen, oigan. Estoy sola, estoy sentada.
Soft knocks. By the way, that could just be something that was actually really there, or she's overlaid it, because she certainly overlaid some sounds later on.
¿Escucharon?
Then, at 2:22, something eerie happens.
Se escuchó algo.
I'm shocked. A piano key just played on its own. And again.
Se está escuchando el piano. Y no hay nadie en el piano. No mames. No hay nadie y lo estoy escuchando.
No hay nadie. I don't know what that means. But this is 100% a bona fide poltergeisty spectre. 100%. Guaranteed.
Es increíble.
I mean, the distance away from the piano, everything seemed spot on. It wasn't like they recorded the sound right next to the piano and then overlaid it. Oof. The ghost. Or... There's been some weird stuff going on in my house. El piano. Terrifio. Ooh. Scary. There's been some weird stuff going on in my house. El piano. Terrifio. Ooh. Scary. Yeah, it's simple. You place the camera where you're going to be stood anyway. You make the noise, you go back to your camera, and then you re-record you reacting to the sound that's not really there. It's simple, and the ambient noise and everything will be exactly the same. The big mistake a lot of people do is they download sound clips, and then they overlay the sound clips, and you can hear them cut on and off, and or fade in and fade out, and they give themselves away. So as long as you record two pieces of footage in the same area for the same length of time, it's what you get. But he goes a step further.
But in the first half of the clip, there's a faint moan or whisper under the ambient noise.
That is probably a resident. If there are people in there with dementia, Alzheimer's, just in pain, general pain of old age, and, you know, your mind slowly disintegrating on you, those noises are quite normal. Or even, it's a second person, because she's 100% got a second person with her. Watch.
This happens.
¿Qué pasa? ¡Ay, no! ¿Qué es eso?
Wow. Couldn't possibly have been a second person, giving it a light shove and then running up that corridor. Which corridor? This corridor. With a light bar on it, right there. That corridor. It's come from that direction. Somebody shoved it And then she moves backwards with her phone like this and away from that corridor. But she doesn't investigate it. She's not a paranormal investigator, I guess. But she runs backwards. She follows the motion of the trolley. She runs backwards and then goes up a completely different corridor to make sure that the second person is never caught on camera. Basic, easy stuff. You don't even have to put a cut in. It's very lazy. But Sarah doesn't stop there. No. She's got an attachment because it's followed her into somebody's private home that she's filming. I hope it's her home and she's lying about it, or you could lose your job, Sarah.
In a client's private house, the recordings capture what sounds
Don't film in people's private houses without permission. Maybe she had permission. But this is going to be spooky. I can feel it in my bones.
like footsteps climbing the stairs, even though the home is empty.
Now, did that not sound like footsteps to anyone else? That sounded like somebody slapping something. Not only that, it was far too loud for the distance she is away from the stairs, given the ambient noise and stuff. Or is it a fat ghost? Like, humongous, bigger than me ghost. Flat-footed, just stomping up the stairs. Or sounds like somebody walking down my stairs. But there's nobody here. That shouldn't be happening. There's nobody else in the house. They walk towards me. So that clip is taken from Help My House is Haunted, where I sat on the sofa, I react to ghostly footsteps on the stairs, I run out to the stairs, the footsteps continue past me, and then I freak out for a second and then onto the next clip. In fact, what I actually did was I just sat on the sofa, recorded Mrs. Geek walking down the stairs and out into the dining room, and then I recorded myself sat on the sofa reacting, and then I just placed the two clips together. They were the same length of space, so the original clip was longer, just so I made sure I had enough either side. So the ambient noise is doubled up. Nobody can tell, and you hear those footsteps coming down the stairs. It is a simple, easy, lazy, haunted content. And the simple, lazy, haunted content is just what's filling up the top fives and filling up TikTok. I've been sent some clips from people sitting on TikTok, and people are like, can you please debunk this? I'm like, no. No, it's too easy. And for our next terrifying clip, we are going over to Really Haunted. That's right, we're revisiting the tit. And the reason I'm revisiting the tit is, I don't know how he's done this one. Again, now, Lee stepped away from masking and strings and all the rest of it for such a long time when all the debunkers were looking at him. And now nobody's looking at him. He's gone back into being a bit more adventurous with his haunting. And I've watched this clip on my phone, and I couldn't see any telltale signs. So, let's take a look. Say no to crack. So much like the candle, this has confused me. Unlike the candle, this isn't me being an idiot, because obviously he was a magnet on his ankle. So let's take a look at this. So we'll go back a good few frames and see if we can spot anything. I may need my goggles for this, because I, for the life of me, couldn't see how this was done. So we're skipping frames, and nothing is moving. In fact, nothing is moving. There's no pixelation. There's no changes in the light or the pixelation anywhere in this. Is this a still image? Is that what I missed on my phone? Nope. There is a shift in the light there. So it's not a still image. Right, there is pixelation. So this thing just flies. Meow. I can't see a wire. I see no mask slip. Okay, so let's look at the surroundings. We've got this cupboard door open that the microwave is behind. I don't know why that would be open. I don't know why this cupboard door under, what's that, air fryer? I don't know why this door would be open. I don't think Lee is going to fit behind there. I don't think his son is going to fit behind there, or his wife. They're, you know, they're not tiny people. They're not the borrowers. He plays Connect 4, possibly with himself, and still loses. I'm looking around for any sort of telltale sign, and now I did notice up there the light changing. There. There's something moving. There. Ooh, what was that? Everything pulses there. I don't think that's a natural artifact, I think. So this area, I'm wondering if that's artifacting or if that's a shadow being cast. Because there's somebody actually there. And it's changed the lighting up in this ceiling. It's very minute, but there's something changes there. And there. See? What is that? That's somebody moving in the kitchen, right? They've cast a shadow. There. The light is moving up there. Like somebody is moving in front of this light source. So could it be that he's this side of the counter, between the camera and the counter with a string, and he's just yanked it that way? So there's the first frame. Going backwards and forwards on the first frame. Seeing if something else changes in this room. That shadow there is changing again. Now that shadow's changing there, I imagine, because this is moving. Now I got bogged down in this last time, where one of these spots on the kitchen countertop moves. I don't think that's moving. I think it's the light moving past it has made it look like it's shifting. What's that? Now that could be artifacting, but that dot moves. There's almost a straight line there, look. When this thing starts to move, that dot splits and then joins back up. But there's a line that moves across there. And then it stops there because it's already on its trajectory. Has he done what Debunked Paranormals thought he did with the candle there? And he's got a stick. Blue, green, red, whatever. Wouldn't be green because of the night vision. Has he masked himself out there? The shadow up there moved before the item for a few frames, which there's movement there that's not on camera. And then as this thing moves, there's more movement up there. I think he's in between the back and the oven, and he's whacked it with something. This is one of those with Lee where I know it's fake, but I can't tell you exactly 100% how it is faked. There is some movement on the ceiling there just before the item moves, and there shouldn't be because nothing else in the frame is moving, or nothing else in the scene is moving. And the same thing happens again when this thing takes off, because obviously we can see the reflection of the IR light there. So before that moves, something else in this room moves and disturbs that reflective light. First, to hazard a guess, he's masked something in this area, and it looks like he's hit it with a stick or something, like when Debunk said one of the ways he could have done the candle was pretty much chroma keying out a stick. Hard to do in night vision, to be fair. So to me, what that looks like is he's chromed out or masked out something just smacking it. So probably a stick. So I think he's back here. And what also leads me to believe that is both of these reflective surfaces, the two ovens or the grill on the oven, have got tea towels over them to hide reflections. This is a trick Laney and Ben did years ago. Leave a tea towel hanging over reflective surfaces. I've looked in the tap reflections, so I think he's in between the oven and this unit, and he's used a stick and thwacked it, and then he just cuts. And then when he rocks up off the sofa, it's just a cut. He was out there anyway, or even his son or his wife. And if you don't think those people are in the house at any given point unless he shows them on camera, bullshit. So he's described this tin, and now he's trying to antagonize the ghost into throwing the tin. I'll be shocked if anything flies off that counter when he stood there. Really shocked. Because that would take a bit more work. Oh, something did move while he's there. Oh. Oh. So this box flies off the top. Again, there's movement in this part of the ceiling before he moves. There. He's not moving that much, yet there's all of this movement up here before. Look, he's just holding his hand to his head, but there's all of this movement of shadows up in the ceiling. Right, that's the shadow of this thing falling that's there. Reflection matches up, so it's not something he's just added in. He's got me again, yeah? He's getting better. There's movement up there that shouldn't be there. What's that there? There. There's movement in that reflection of the inside of the cupboard door. So we look at these hinges. If we look at this circle there, as the box moves up there, that shadow is changing. There's somebody moving there. It's masked. Spotted it. So as this thing falls off the top, we can see the corner of the box corner. It falls into a straight line. The entire corner of the box has completely disappeared into that straight, clean line there. And it's still missing there. There's a straight line of masking down here. Look, there. Straight line of a mask all the way down there. So he's masked a straight line down there. So I imagine his son or his wife is in this area. So there was a reflection there. That changed. So somebody's moved their arm up to grab a string or something. And that reflection changed. It shouldn't have, because nothing was moving in the scene. As it falls, it pulls the corners of this box. Just disappear. The whole thing has disappeared there, look. Behind that line. There's a straight line all the way down. So he has masked a straight line down there to this unit, across there, and then around this, because that reflection is correct. So he's got somebody stood there and he's masked it. That's what the towels are for. But this matches. See, as this falls down from there, this should be reflecting in this door, and it doesn't. There should be some movement around this edge of the cupboard, and there's not. See, we've got the reflection there, but not on this reflective surface that we've seen somebody moving in. He's masked this. He's done much better than he normally does with it as well. But ultimately, he's been caught out. Wait. The way that noise snaps on there. He moves. Bang. I think all that noise, digital noise, stopped there because this mask has now stopped because his son or wife is out of sight. They've ducked down behind. Okay, so this cupboard's shut. There's no need for masking here. That's just somebody outshot, give it a little slap. So, my opinion, he's got two helpers. Somebody's behind there masked out. And somebody's laying on the floor down here, just give the cupboard a little slam. You could mask all this, but it's pointless, because I've done this myself, help my house is haunted, where I'm laying on the floor and I'm just pulling cupboards with my fingers. I didn't even mask anything, I just cut myself out of the shot, as in I lifted the camera higher. Later on I redid it with my fingers in the doors, and I moved the doors with my fingers, the top doors, and I masked myself out in a different video. But that's just somebody down there's giving that a shove. So I've had a quick look through some of the footage. He eventually takes the camera behind it to show there's nobody there. He goes out into the yard to show there's nobody out there, but doesn't show any footage from while these events are happening that would completely prove once and for all there's nobody helping him. He doesn't show any of that. And then his Alexa. We all know how to do it. if you've got an Alexa at home, just say, Alexa, Alexa, Simon says Lee faked every bit of that.
Lee faked every bit of that.
That's all he's doing. There you go, 2 paranormal clips. Now, this is an idea. I did it a couple of weeks ago where I did 3 different sort of topics in one video. And Sarah from Fantastic, if you haven't checked her channel, go and check her out. Sarah from Fantastic, I really enjoyed it when you did 3 different things from 3 different channels. You did a bit of news, you did a debunking, and then you did something else. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And a few people that were in her live stream at the time when she said it agreed that this was a cool format. So, let me know in the comment section down below. Are you enjoying me sort of mixing things up a bit? You know, Smug Puppy posted a picture of something that jumped over a wall and scared his wife and dog, I believe. And he was like, you got scared by a 3-foot broccoli? I'd be scared too. And the more you look at the image, the more that's wrong with it. The scared broccoli looks like an emu, but somebody's an emu, not an emo. Big difference. Floppy hair and shit. It looks like somebody's chopped the head off an emu. Emu, not an emo. Don't chop heads off emus or emos. It's rude. Anyway, it's bizarre. It's AI. And then somebody in the comments was like, is anyone else? And then somebody said, hey, have you noticed that the street lamp is facing the wrong way? So in his picture, this is the road. This is his 3-foot broccoli. And at the end of the road, there's Neil. There's his dog. There's the 3-foot broccoli at the end. And here is a street light. But the street light is lighting up bushes and shrubbery. That street light is facing this way. So it's shedding light onto bushes. Not the road where the broccoli appears. I'll post the image on the screen, but I like using the whiteboard. And you guys like me using the whiteboard. So please let me know what your thoughts are on this sort of multiple little debunks and chats in with one video instead of just tackling one thing. Obviously, some videos are going to be based on certain channels in its entirety. Some are going to be parodies and fun stuff. So we're just changing things up a little smidge here and there. And for everyone that's asking about the gaming, at some point it'll come back, but I'm just burnt out on the gaming stuff. I've been burnt out in general for a while, just really tired. The investigations, I've done 4 investigations in a couple of weeks, as well as doing my usual 3 weekly uploads, as well as doing my 2 weekly live streams. I've been creating for TikTok, creating for Facebook, and then it's like, I don't have the time to game, and at the moment, I've got no desire to play anything. I know Battlefield came out, everyone was raging about it. I've watched people playing the game. I've always struggled with Battlefield. They're a lot more difficult game than Call of Duty, and I'm like, I'm going to spend 70 quid, play it for 2 weeks, and then never play it again because the new Call of Duty is dropped. The new Call of Duty is dropped, and I am a Call of Duty fan. And every year, without fail, since I don't know when, I'm one of those guys that used to queue up in-game, waiting for the release of the game to get my grubby mitts on it. It was a fantastic experience. That doesn't happen anymore because most of the games have shut down. The new Call of Duty came out yesterday or the day before. I haven't purchased it. I don't know if I'm going to purchase it because I'm just done the time being with the gaming streams. I would much rather put my efforts into debunking long-form content and then the Tuesday and Sunday live than being live nearly every day of the week and videos posted every day of the week. So yeah, the gaming, maybe it'll come back in the new year. That's how long I'm thinking because I need to recharge. But yeah, leave your thoughts down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. I never ask people to do that and I should. Much love to you all. Beardo out. In this ceiling. It's very in this ceiling. It's very in this ceiling. It's very in this ceiling. It's very